Hey guys, hope you guys are having a good Friday. You know, it is Friday and buddy knows it. That's what the saying goes, right? Basically meaning that, if you are an employee, for example, the weekend is here and you get some time to relax to yourself, to do whatever it is you do on the weekend. So, congratulations for making it through another week. For those of us that are in business and business owners, entrepreneurs, etc., this is probably the busiest time of the week for us because that's when the most business happens over the weekend. And, I'm glad that we made it too. So, that means that another week went by, guys. This year is going so fast. It is incredible. We are already on the 12th of May. I was thinking about that this morning and it is crazy how quickly time is going. And so, I just wanted to come here and guys and drop a little bit of the information that I've gathered over the years, especially from my military career and learning leadership courses, etc. Because I think it's important for us to become the best version that we can of ourselves, especially in the world of leadership. Okay, guys. And so, I wanted to come and talk to you guys about the 14 traits of military leadership. We've been talking about some of them already. Today, we're going to be talking about number 7. We've covered number 1, which was justice. You having the ability or the discernment to be a just leader is one of the most amazing qualities that you can have as a leader. You being just, meaning that you're fair to everybody. You having good judgment as a leader. You having the ability to make, good calls and just kind of measure any decision that you have through your judgment. Being a dependable leader. We've talked about how important it is that you're a dependable leader regardless of what you do, especially if you're a leader in an organization. Everybody's counting for you to become dependable or be dependable. Number 4, we talked about having initiative. One of the qualities or traits of a leader that will open many doors for you going forward. So practice being a person of initiative. We talked about number 5. It's being a decisive leader, having decisiveness, having that ability to make quick decisions, and just kind of make calls even on tough situations so that you can further the goal of the team or the business. Sometimes you got to make a call and you can't think too much about it. You just got to trust your gut and have the ability to decide. We talked about tact yesterday or 2 days ago, I believe. One of those traits that is very, underappreciated is the word for it. Having tact is having that ability to use words to talk to people in a way that don't piss them off and they love what you're telling them. They love your ideas. You kind of get to influence people when you are a person that has the ability to be tactful with your conversations, okay? And today we get to talk about number 7, integrity. Man, and integrity, it is a topic that we are going to try to keep the video short, but I can say so many things about it. Integrity just means living by and according to a set of rules, values, principles that underline what you do and who you are as a person, what you say. For example, John Anker said that, if you set your expectations high, it's a quote. It says, find your expectations high, find men and women whose integrity and values you respect, get their agreement on a course of action, and give them your ultimate trust, so that when you find people with integrity and you bring them into an operation, a mission, a goal, a project, and then you trust them to go through this process, they will say what they are going to do, but most importantly, they will do it. That's having integrity. And you being a person of integrity is such an important part. I'll tell you what I learned very recently. Then I kind of already knew this, but I kind of had this what do you call it? It was corroborated through some of my mentors recently about integrity. A lot of times I used to believe that integrity, it's you having, of course, your set of rules, values, and principles, but I thought it was always meant towards the organization or towards the team or towards, for example, the military. In my case, towards the military, having integrity towards what I was doing in the military, just making sure that I was being honest with the things that I was doing. And so I learned very recently, and this is probably going to sound a little odd to some of you, that I learned that integrity has to do with you having integrity to no one else except you. See, if you're a person of integrity, you're just a person of integrity. Period. You don't have integrity. You don't have selective integrity in your life. You are true to who you are. Hey, that's what having integrity means. that you're true to who you are. You have your set of values. You have your set of principles that you believe in, that you follow, and regardless of what the world is telling you to do, you just stick to those. You become so true to yourself that it gives you a power that you are not going to have anyone challenge. When you're a person that has integrity, what you're telling the world is, look, the world outside me is not going to define me. I will define who is in my surrounding, who is in my circle. You're not bending or moving away from who you are as an individual to suit the needs of somebody else. I've met a lot of people in my life that, and again, I didn't really know this in this depth as I understand it now before. But you could tell, there were people that, have you guys ever met fake people? Like people that are just kind of super fake, superficial, you call them superficial people. Those are people that lack integrity, because the problem with these individuals is that they are not being true to who they are. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I went through a phase in my life where that was me too. I went through moments in my life, especially in my career, where I stopped being me to try to be something I wasn't to somebody else. And it's a very taxing way of living, because you're just pouring energy into something that you don't really believe. And it's so hard for you to succeed when you're doing something that is not who you are. It's like pouring water on a diesel engine almost. That's what happens when you have no integrity. So the first step to being a person of integrity is you have to define, who are you as a person. What do you believe? What are your non-negotiables? One of my mentors calls this like, what are your non-negotiables as a person? What are the things that, regardless of what's going on around you, you're definitely not going to do? It could be anything. It could be I don't know, you could be a person, for example, I'll use the example of fitness, right? Probably the worst example to give you, talk about fitness, but I'll give you the example of fitness. A person of integrity says that I'm going to eat XYZ foods, right? And so regardless of what the world tells them, regardless of the scenario, regardless of, let's say that the person, for example, it's a fit, crazy person. They're like all about their fitness, and they say, because I'm all about my fitness, I'm not going to drink alcohol, right? Just to give you an idea. And if you don't think that you could be fit and be alcohol free or whatever, go watch Wes Watson. Great guy. I don't quite agree with everything he says. He's a little foul mouth guy, but he does have a lot of wisdom behind his words. And so the guy, for example, he doesn't drink. Well, if you have set yourself the rule of, I am not drinking regardless of the situation, you're not gonna fall to the peer pressure whenever you go out with your friends to the bar or something, because that's who you are. You're having integrity to yourself, to your rules, to the things you said you were going to do. A person that has no integrity, then they go to a bar and then they get a little bit of peer pressure, and they're the ones that are partying it out. Or they know, for example, that their friends like to drink, so they say, well, my friends like to do it, so I'm just going to bend the rules that I have set for myself just for this case, so that I could fit in my friend's bubble or expectation of me. And no, that's not having integrity. A person of integrity really doesn't care much about the people's expectations of them. They only care about the expectations they have for themselves, the values they carry, the principles they carry as people. And so those are going to be the guiding factors of everything you do in your life. That's what integrity means, So before you are going out there in the world and just kind of telling people, oh yeah, I say, or I do what I say I'm going to do, well, that means you're a person of integrity. But if you find yourself not following through with those things, then you might be losing integrity. Now, I understand, for example, there's things that are a little more tangible that could happen, or you have a little control over, and you might lose integrity to yourself if you don't get them done. I'll give you an example. In my business, let's say it's numbers, right? Let's say you tell yourself, this month I'm going to do this many numbers, run this many appointments, etc., right? Well, if you don't hit that for whatever reason, there's things, of course, that you couldn't control. What you can, however, control is what did you do in order to give yourself the best shot to accomplishing whatever it was that you set yourself to accomplish. And there is that fine line that makes the average from the great. That the greats, they have integrity to their values, they have integrity to their principles, they have a set of rules, and they say, look, I don't quite know what the result of this is going to be, but as long as I stick to this, basic principles of who I am as a person, I am going to succeed one way or another. And that is, by the way, what leads to success. It's not you being the person, for example, that says, I'm just going to do great things. And then that your integrity says you're a lazy person. Your integrity says that you're a person that likes to eat the Doritos or the donuts or the candy, I don't know, whatever it is. Well, if you're a person of integrity and you say, I'm never going to have sugar, or I'm going to get really fit, I'm going to really be focused on my fitness, just to give you another example about fitness. But then you find yourself, going to the store and buying the candy, buying the things that are not healthy for you. What you're doing is you're really losing integrity, and to nobody else but yourself. Now, if you lose integrity with yourself, how can you expect others to think that you're a person of integrity, let alone you think you're going to have integrity towards any other project that you pursue? The first and most important asset that you have in your life, it's called you as a person. And so when you are putting together this set of rules, this set of principles, this set of values that you have, what you want to ask yourself is, who am I, and what do having these principles, these rules, these values will do for me? Is this true to who I am? Is this the person that I want to wake up to being every morning? Wes Watson said something in an interview recently. He said that one thing that scares him is waking up one day and not playing his character. And I said, in my head, I was like, okay, that sounds kind of odd. What does he mean by playing his character? Is he not a real person? Is he just trying to fake it or something? But then I kind of kept on going through his conversation and through his comments and the things that he was saying, and I understood that the person you are today has a lot to do with the decisions that you've made on who you're going to become. The rules that you set in your life are directly related to who you've said to you that you would become. If you said, I'm going to be the best, most committed individual in the planet, right? Then everything that you establish for you as a rule, as a value, as a principle has to be directed towards you becoming the best guy on the planet, whatever that means. And so that's what integrity does for you. It allows you to give yourself just the set of things, kind of like a checkbox that tells you, I'm going to do these actions because they're congruent with who I want to become. And you're not going to break away from that, regardless of what anybody else tells you. So, in the world of business, whenever you meet a person of integrity, a business leader of integrity, you're going to see that they're going to tell you things, and they're not just only going to tell you things, they're going to live like they tell you to live. They're going to show you by their example how the things that they're telling you have been of value to them and how they've changed their life. That's why, again, going back to John Acker, he says, set your expectation high and find men and women whose integrity and values you respect. Get their agreement on having a course of action, and then give them the ultimate trust. Meaning, you find those people where they are very true to who they are, and you respect who they are as individuals. And then when you put the mission in front of them and they agree to take action because they are so true to who they are, they'll also be true to the mission that they agree to. And then you get to build very successful people. In the world, in my world, for example, I talk about a lot to prospective agents in my company about commitment. Well, how do I know if a person is going to be a good fit or not, and where integrity plays a huge role is when I ask people for their commitment and they say, yes, I'm going to be there. Yes, I'm going to connect. Yes, I'm going to do this, that, or the other. And then when it comes to doing it, they just don't show up. They're not there. They come up with excuses. They are blaming the system. They're blaming the company. Those people then show themselves as people that have no integrity, because they commit to something that they knew they were never going to really fulfill, and they just did it because they wanted to, I don't know, in a way, please me as a person that's asking them to do it. And that means that they're not being true to who they are. I would rather someone tell me, I don't want this, and they just walk away. We stay friends. We can go hang out there down the road. Maybe I'll invite them to my kid's birthday party or whatnot, and I'm okay with them because there's no other relationship except the one that they told me they wanted to have. They became very honest with themselves, and just follow through with their principles. Then having someone that tells me, yes, I'm gonna commit, I'm gonna connect, I'm gonna be there, I'm going to follow through, I'm going to take action, etc. And then they don't, and not only do they don't do it, but then they blame our system or the circumstance for the reason that they cannot come through with what they committed to. So those are just some things that I believe are very powerful as individuals that want to become better leaders in the world. You must develop a good sense of integrity. Okay, you want to develop a good sense of integrity, and once you establish, who you want to become, then you can follow your rules, your values, your principles, and then people that see that and they can respect your values, they will then want to work with you because they respect you who you are as an individual, and they know that if you give your word on taking action on something, then you will do that. But you have to make yourself the center of integrity to you first. When you become the person that has integrity to you, other people will see that, and then therefore they will want to work with you more. Just to kind of leave it at that, okay? So hope that helped, guys. This was number 7, integrity. We are officially halfway with the 14 traits of military leadership. Only 7 to go. After the next 7, guys, we know which if I might skip a day or two during the week. Just I'm giving you guys a heads up. But if I do skip a day or two, I'll let you know the reason why when I come back on. But it's looking like maybe next Saturday, next Sunday, possibly Monday or Tuesday, the latest. We might even be able to do the mastermind, for lack of a better word, of people that have used some of these 14 principles in order to achieve success. So stay tuned for that. I think it's going to be fun. If you have a recommendation of someone that you think maybe has experience with JJDIDTIEBUCKLE, the 14 traits of military leadership, and you think they'll be a good fit for a podcast type conversation, online through Zoom or other venues, send them here, put that on the comments. I would love to see that. And it doesn't matter what their background is, because for example, I used to game a lot when I was younger, and there were a lot of people that they were super committed, and they had so much integrity, and it will show even on the way that they did things inside a video game. They had like tact, they were very good leaders. Even in that kind of community, you could see it. I've seen it in the military world. I've seen it in the business world. So if you know anyone, regardless of their background, that you think would be a good fit to that conversation, have them plug in, with me. Send me a message on the comments or DM me, and then we'll put it together and see if we can bring more value to this growing and awesome community. Guys, go out there and follow, the page, follow the YouTube channel, go to our TikTok, our Instagram, our Facebook. It's Leaders Make Leaders everywhere you go. And I would love to have your support, when it comes to this video, so that more people can be exposed to the things that we do, the things that we believe, and then hopefully they will change their life, increase their leadership, and become the leaders that they are meant to be. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next one.